Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Minko's bedroom. Today we have a completely different video from my normal type of videos. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that's been going around, that's been getting a lot of attention quite lately, called "Do Trans-Athletes Have an Unfair Advantage?" This is a video where I will be basically telling my thoughts and my point of view of this. Of this question, and I want to see this video because a lot of people reacted to it. They told their and I've held off. I haven't listened to any of them. I didn't want to be influenced by anybody by their opinions. And so this is basically a video that's been going around a lot. And as I said, I'm gonna do a little bit more political commentary because I like doing that. I like to listen to it, and I was thinking to myself, why not me? You know what? So yeah, let's get into it.
Purchase made at the Jubilee shop. I really believe that trans women have an advantage.
Oh, so I'm gonna skip a little bit.
Hi, my name is Howard. I've been a swimmer for 13 years and currently I'm on the UCLA triathlon team.
My name's Jing and I've been swimming for 11 years.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I've been playing indoor volleyball for 7 years. I've been playing beach volleyball for 3 years.
My name is Afton. I play women's flat track roller derby and I've been playing since the end of 2018.
My name is Mac Beggs. I'm a wrestler. I've been in combat sports for 8 years.
My name is Sydney. I played tennis growing up for 13 years and now I am a fitness coach.
Trans athletes have an unfair advantage.
All right, so
Step forward if you agree.
trans athletes have an unfair advantage. Yes, they do. My thoughts on this matter is, especially when you go the female to male transition, or the male female transition. Say when you're born a man and you transition into a woman. I think you have a huge advantage compared to others, especially when it comes to sports, because of the testosterone coursing through your body and your whole genetic makeup. That I'm gonna assume you made the transition when you're 18, because I hear stories where nowadays like 12, 13-year-olds, they don't even need the permission of their parents to make a transition, which is insane. It's insane to me. 13 years old, you make a transition? Are you nuts? Uh, so let's assume you're 18 years old when you decide, you know what, I want to become a girl. By then, I mean your whole body structure, and you will have an insane advantage compared to a naturally born woman. And I think people who advocate for trans for trans to be in the same categories as women who are men uh, is a huge disservice to the women who have practiced their whole life. Because being good in a sport, I'm not an athletic person, you know. But like, imagine if the amount of effort you put in at the gym, in practice, in terms of strategy, whatever the sport is, you put so much effort into it, and then someone comes and beats you because over the past 20 years they had this huge amount of testosterone coursing through their body, and that gives them an unfair advantage physically over you. It's not just because they're more skilled or because they're better than you in any way. They're just physically more, you know, imposing than you, and they beat you. And so I don't think it's fair to women, to naturally born women. Let's see what they think.
When you first think about like transgender athletes, I guess the first thing you think about is, well, biologically.
And I want to say something here. This is just my thoughts, but you only see this being a problem when it's a man transitioning to a woman. A woman transitioning to becoming a man, I don't see that. I don't see that so much. You know, like if you were a woman for 20 years and then you decide to become a man, I don't think there's any problems with you competing with men because you don't have any advantages. in a sense that yes, you might be getting testosterone, but your testosterone level and your physical structure will be would be compared to a man's who was born a man and who was a man for 20 years. The difference would be so big that there won't be any advantage. But when you're born a man, you're a man for 20 years, and then you transition to becoming a woman, you have a huge advantage. And I'm blown away by people who think, oh, there's no advantage. Yeah, there are. There is. There is a huge advantage. You know, I'm not someone who's fit. I truly am not. All right. A woman who's trained her whole life in any sport could beat me like this. Like this. No issues. Whatever the sport. Running, swimming, soccer, basketball, I will lose because I'm not an athletic person. If we put the same amount of effort from the moment we're like into sports, 7, 8, 10, the difference would be huge. I mean, just look at the difference between the NBA and the WNBA. The difference is insane. Imagine if a man who is 7 foot, 200 pounds, he decides one day, you know what, I'm a woman now, goes to play the WNBA. Who do you think is going to be the new best player in the league?
Transition usually happens after puberty, right? So if this biologically male athlete goes through puberty, he gets, if there's like better bone structure, he has all these skills that he enhances, all these muscle that he puts on, and then he transitions. Yes, your testosterone levels go down, but you're always just gonna have that like things that you've gone through like during puberty that you have after you've transitioned. So I feel like there's always gonna be that advantage.
I think it's dependent on the gender that they are transitioning to.
Yeah.
For example, trans women do have somewhat of an advantage. Biological men are naturally born with higher bone density and larger lung capacity and a larger heart, and that's not something that can necessarily be changed with hormones. Of course, this isn't the same for trans men athletes.
For
Yeah.
me, it's just on
You
average.
never hear it the other way around, right? Like someone who's a man, who's a woman who transitioned to a man. Nobody's like, you know what, those people, they shouldn't participate with men. No. Go ahead. Good luck, but go ahead. But it's the other way around that's iffy, especially in combat sports. You know, I heard this. I haven't really researched this, but where this woman who was a man who transitioned and who didn't tell her opponents that she was a man, and she beat the fuck out of her opponents. I think that's not fair at all.
Guys are typically a little bit stronger, a little bit larger, a little bit taller. So depending on the sport especially,
A little
it
bit.
can give them a large advantage when you're looking at something like that. When it's something like swimming, having that ability to be a little bit larger lung capacity will overall affect that.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
Among cisgender men and cisgender women, there are naturally differences in their anatomy, in their hormonal levels, in their height, bone structure, all that stuff. Like any cisgender woman.
What the
compared to
fuck is a
another-
cisgender? Okay, what? Cisgender? Cisgender? I'm not. I don't. I don't know what it is.
might have a different body type. Some women are naturally very strong.
Okay,
If you take
you cannot play the odd man out here. You cannot play that game. You know, you can play out of 1,000 women, there might be one who's taller and stronger than all the others. Maybe. Okay, maybe she was born with way more testosterone. She's bigger, she's stronger than all the other women. And then if she transitions, everybody's like, yeah, whatever. You know, she was born with an advantage physically. But you cannot play the exception because there are exceptions to everything. You have to play for the wide array of people. You can't be like, okay, well, you know, out of 1,000 people, there will be one who will be the most equal to men, quote unquote, in terms of body structure and Some, I don't know. I don't know the science. Maybe what he's saying is pure trash bullshit. I don't know. I'm gonna say, okay, maybe he's right. Let's go on the point that he's right. And you cannot say, you cannot make a rule out of the exception because it doesn't make any sense. Because how many exceptions there will be? 10,000 people. 10? There will be 10 exceptions that may or may not transition. It's
Take the advantage, which I think in most cases is the hormones. And if you compare the blood work and you're just looking at that, if they're on the same level, in my opinion, there just isn't an advantage because when you grow up playing sports, some people are good at sports, some people aren't.
The problem I see with this argument is that there's a large group of people that no matter what I do in a sport will always automatically assume that I have an advantage.
you have a huge advantage, and you do have an advantage though. Even if you do, and no matter if you put it, it sucks to be him, uh, him. I'm not trying to be rude. I swear. Um, her, it's her, right? Anyways, yeah, it's her. I'm sorry, but you, you do have a huge advantage over naturally born women. It's like being a woman, a natural born woman, but your whole life, for 20 years, you've been injecting testosterone in your blood. From the moment you're born, someone comes with an injection and just pumps you right in. And you will have a huge advantage compared to normal women. You will. Physically, uh, it will be a real advantage. Even if you stop taking testosterone and start going into your transitioning drugs when you turn 20, those 20 years will have had a huge amount of consequence on your body.
But they're not taking into account hours that I put into practice, hours that I put into weightlifting to become a better athlete. Roller derby is probably 90+% cis women. I get my ass handed to me. Like, yes, I am tall. And I can see that can be a.
I'm gonna go on the speculation that cis woman is someone who transitions because
Advantage in some sports, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that I have an advantage.
Oh yeah. What we usually hear in the news and politics and stuff is about trans women just because they're in so much prominence because they are winning. Like I can't remember what her name is right now, but she was a power lifter. She was a power lifter. I think she went to Tokyo Olympics and she's transgender.
And she sucked.
They're winning by a large amount of weight.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage, even with hormones. So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women. So does that mean that you're okay?
Yeah, because nobody cares if a woman becomes a man and goes because they're gonna lose, or at least they're gonna have a huge disadvantage compared to men. And so nobody cares if you enter a race with your left foot tied behind your back. I'm trying to make sense of this. So he's saying that you have a problem when you're a man transitions to a woman. Yes, because it will give you a huge advantage towards naturally born women. But if you're a woman transitioning to become a woman transitioning to become a man, the reason why it's not heard of in the media, people are like, oh my god, women who decide to play with men, they shouldn't play with them because there's no advantage physically. So nobody gives a fuck. I personally, I don't. But,
Okay with trans men having that disadvantage?
When I was going through high school, I wrestled against females. I had to suppress both my hormones in my body, and I was still able to beat the men too, with my levels low. And I cut 15 pounds a week. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. The body is like a shell, and what we do every single day in the practices and the like life lessons that we get like living 40 years on this earth. You know, we just try to live life the best we can.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts going through my mind. What the fuck is he saying? Body's a shell. 40 years? You intend to live 40 years?
Trans athletes should have a separate category in certain sports.
I think it's fair. Yeah. I mean, people will say you're excluding them, like, but I think it's fair. I think if that happens, nobody will give a fuck. Nobody will care. Like, fine, play amongst yourselves. But then people will be like, well, you're excluding them. You're not acknowledging that they're becoming a woman or a man, and it will become a political thing that it will never happen. But I don't think there's any problem with that. Personally, trans athletes should have a separate category in certain sports. Why not? So if this happens, there won't be any debate anymore. Nobody will be like, "Hey, you shouldn't." No.
I don't want to say that they should be in a completely different category just because socially and legally, yes,
Yeah,
they are.
that's the thing, though. Legally and socially, you can never do that because then people will be like, "What, you don't consider me a woman or a man?" And then people will get pissed, and then there will be boycotts and then marches. So that will never happen. But if you're gonna be on the just purely practical, just you know, it could happen. If it happened, it will never happen. Like logically in today's climate, no fucking way.
That gender that they transition to, and putting them in another category just seems, from hindsight, seems wrong. But as an athlete, like in the sporting world, it just does seem a little bit unfair if you classify them under the same group, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that there definitely are some sports where your physical ability makes a much larger impact on the sport itself. Wrestling would be one of them, swimming, track, something like that. But if you look at NASCAR as a sport, I believe that anyone can then go and do that sort of sport because that's more of a technique.
Uh, I don't know the science here. I don't know the science at all. Okay, don't shit on me on the comments what I'm about to say, but this is gonna fucking sound bad. But correct me in the comments. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but is it true? This is pure speculation, man. That men have better reflexes than women. So then you could do the conversation on that. This is pure speculation. I have no idea if it's true or not. It's just a question in the ether. I have no idea. So, but then do you consider NASCAR a sport? Yeah. When there are a lot of sports that there's still a huge. Anyways,
If you look at other sports like golf, it all requires a lot of technique and a lot of strength. Plus, video games is now starting to make a massive
Exactly,
rise. So
yeah.
all of those could definitely have both genders in it with no problem.
yeah, but golf is different though. Golf, even though you're just swinging a club, there's a difference between a man and a woman that's swinging a golf club. When it comes to video games, there's no different. Nobody cares. Uh, but the other thing is, where was going? I just had an idea, but it just sort of got out of my mind. I don't know. We're 7 minutes in. I've talked for like 25. So
For swimming especially, if I were to decide that I would like to transition and then start all of the hormone therapy for a year or so, then obviously I would probably lose some muscle mass and I would slow down in my swimming, but I don't know if that slowdown would necessarily be enough to make it fair for the cis females.
what
that
the
I'd be
fuck is a
competing
cis? I
against.
have to Google this.
The danger of it is that you're possibly outing somebody. In America alone, there's several places that it's still extremely dangerous to be an open transgender person. To say that you can't perform unless you're in this group, there's just
You're outing somebody? What the fuck do you mean you're outing somebody? So they make the transition, but they don't want to be known that they're trans?
a lot of safety reasons for that individual that it's not good. Second thing, where does the line draw? You're saying swimming, and you had mentioned
All sports. Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Hey, it's easy, right? If you're gonna draw a line, look, fucking draw it in the middle. You know, say like all sports. Because then if you start picking sports, it gets convoluted and people will be like, well, why not my sport? Why not your sport? Draw all sports. All sports, really. Line down the middle, go left, go right, that's it. I know it's never gonna happen. But,
earlier that like height was an advantage. Did I go through puberty as a male? Yes. But in order to say that I have an advantage because I was born with testosterone is the equivalent of saying that, oh, I went to this gym one time and I lifted and I had a protein shake, so I should never have to.
no. Okay, dude. The difference is way bigger. What? You went to the gym once and you had a protein shake? You're comparing that to 20 years of testosterone coursing through your body? Are you serious?
Take a protein shake again because it's in my body. And the medicine I'm taking stops that testosterone. I don't have that anymore.
Yeah, but you had it for so long. You know, your exoskeleton and your body mass was used, was sort of. I'm trying not to sound like a complete fucking moron here, but for like 20 years you had this testosterone coursing through your body, and then even if you stopped it with medicine and you started your transition, there's still a huge amount of impact that has happened over those 20 years that it will never be reversible. You might stop when you're 23, whatever, but what about the last 23 years? It's not like once you go to the gym, you take a protein shake. What?
My entire body, my entire mind, my entire way of thinking is different because of the medicine I'm on.
Are we going to start making categories for cis athletes? Okay, you're in a category if you're 5'9" and above, 5'7" to 5'9", you know, 5'5" to 5'7", weights, like all those things. It's like,
Well, doesn't that already exist when it comes to like combat sports? Especially, you know.
like exactly where is the line
I
drawn?
mean, they
What
Because,
the
do
fuck is
have
this?
weight categories.
well, yeah, for
like,
certain
yeah,
sports, of course, but
yeah.
I mean, I think just generally, every person is different. And like you were saying, like the cis women that were getting cut because they're naturally, you know, more athletic to some standard that's set. It's like,
Or even the varying levels of testosterone.
Exactly.
You're in this box, so now you're in this league.
yeah.
I wasn't by any chance trying to discriminate against them and try and put them in their own category in that way. It was more just
So we're coming full circle, and I'm a piece of shit.
by a performance standpoint, we already do separate everyone into their own
Yeah.
different levels. You don't have Olympic athletes coming and competing.
Yeah, I mean, look at just a box. You cannot box someone who's 150 pounds with someone who's 250. You know, men. The guy who's 150 would get destroyed.
At state
Club levels.
club levels.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of trying to become a better athlete then?
What?
If they're trying to work up to a goal, I'm not entirely sure.
So if you're good enough, you're going to be singled out and have to go. There's no proof of any trans athlete that is #1 in any category right now.
Yeah, that's because I think they're being held back so much by just like the media and everything.
What? Wasn't there like a point where like a bunch of records were broken in Australia over a sport? I don't remember the sport, but like a trans woman, a trans man, trans woman broke all the records, and then. By the way, the whole thing what you said with the media, I don't think if you're an athlete, you're gonna give a fuck if you win. If you think, oh, if I win, the media is gonna come after me. Like what?
Thing that you don't get to see their chance to shine in that sense.
What would you guys say to like transgender people who transitioned before puberty?
In that instance, I think I would take a step back and kind of look at it more of
I don't agree with it at all. I'm not talking about like, oh, you have less hormones, but dude, what's before puberty? It's like what, you're 8? Fuck that shit. That I'm completely against. That no way, man. No way. Okay, transition when you're 18, 19, 20. It's your prerogative. It's your life. You don't transition when you're 8. Okay? Are you insane? When you're 8 years old, the thing you would say when you're 8. The thing I'm 24. I say shit, bullshit. The thing I said when I was 8. Are you fucking kidding me? No way. No fucking way, man. I don't know. Like I've heard like horror stories about parents making so that their kids transition when they're like before they're 18. But like it's like parents don't know the things you say when you're like 14 years old. The bullshit that comes out your mouth. It's insane. Your mind isn't made up. Your mind could be so easily influenced by outside sources. I don't agree with that. No, 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 no. No. It's forget the less advantage, more advantage. It's no.
At like my own argument, like it was a scientifically based on like puberty and stuff. So I would like consider like it that would be different, but my mindset just coming into this, I mean, I think that most people go through transitioning like after puberty, or it's like encouraged
more
to.
common.
Yeah.
For
No.
me, it's more if they end up just fitting the category, regardless if they do it before puberty or after puberty. If they have the right amount of testosterone, they did all the right testing all beforehand, then why not? Then you don't even need to separate them. They might as well just compete as.
This would be way better for you guys if I was a scientist. I'm basically regurgitating points that make sense to me. I don't know what testosterone is. I know what it is, like on paper, but like truly what it is.
as a
I know it's a
trans-athlete.
chemical that makes you, but
Hormone testing is fair.
the fuck is hormone testing?
Like the Olympics tests, college level tests. I know, like in Texas, at my high school level, the UIL organization, they tested, and it's to keep everybody safe. And I think it's okay to test for hormone levels, and if that's the ultimate, conversation here is that we're looking in people for hormone levels as a competition, then why separate
I don't know what the fuck the question is here. I'm completely lost. What
men and
hormone
women? Why are we
testing?
talking about men and women? We just strictly talk about hormone levels then.
Yeah.
So there is varying levels of testosterone blockers that you can be on. I chose to be on one of the higher ones, but I can guarantee you that someone like me is going to get less of a chance to be cut than a cis female because my hormones will stay the same, whereas a cis is going to be all over the place depending on
Fuck cis.
all sorts of variables.
I personally think that the hormone testing is really important, and just coming from like a fitness perspective, like fitness, bodybuilding, like that sort of athletics. For me, I take a lot of pride in the fact that my testosterone levels are within the normal range of a cisgender male. Obviously, performance enhancers, right? Steroids, extra testosterone, all those things are thrown around among cisgender men in the fitness world to, enhance their performance, get bigger, all that sort of thing. And for me, being able to say like, no, I am within the normal range of a cisgender man. The muscle I'm putting on, I'm naturally putting on. I don't have an advantage over anybody else that's in that normal range. So I think for me, like, it's just really important because I'm like proud of that. And I think if you just assume that a trans person has an advantage because they're taking testosterone, it's kind of like, well, what about cis men that take testosterone to get bigger?
I need to look up this term. I'm so lost.
How you doing, man?
Testing for hormones is fine. The issue is what you're gonna do with that, because as I said earlier, it's really hard to put someone in a box because there's always averages here and there for male and female, but especially when you start making your way up in the competition pool, those norms go out the window, and it then gets even more difficult to write legislation on what a male can compete in and what a female can compete in for if their hormone levels are outside of this said box.
I'm fine as a trans athlete being tested. If I need to prove to the world that I'm the better athlete at the end of the day, Go ahead and take my medical information. I don't care. Like, I'm just trying to live my truth. That's all I'm trying to do.
A cis female that's competing in a high level of track might have a normal male testosterone, so now are you going to kick them out because now their testosterone levels are too high? And that's where legislation can get really difficult to write.
I have no idea what the fuck
I
hormone.
am treated fairly by my fellow athletes.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna skip this question because well, it might be informative, but I can't really respond to it because I'm not an athlete, first of all. So I don't know. I mean, we might listen to it.
I joined roller derby only like 4 months after I decided to transition and get onto hormones. Everyone from the beginning was very accepting. Roller derby is almost too accepting from my experience because I forgot how bad the real world can be sometimes. Not everyone is going to be, but my personal experience has been very positive.
Growing up, in my club, I trained with my brother, and we were like kind of in the distance group. So it was mostly guys there, and they never really saw me as like she's a girl, you know. They just saw me as like another competitor, and it was always just fun, like racing, and like it just made me grow up love being in the sporting world and being competitive with everyone. So yeah.
I definitely get a lot of hate like online, but I've never personally gotten any like issues. Like everyone that's in the gym is just trying to get better for the most part. Obviously, that kind of communal idea is really like helpful as far as me not getting so much hate.
Lonely times.
When in high school, when I came out, like
Dude,
prominently,
high school sucks.
everybody knew that I was trans, and there was a coach that exploited me in a lawsuit to try
What?
to ban me in high school. Yeah.
Sorry. Wow.
I was on hormone blockers, and it was suppressing my estrogen and testosterone. And even though everybody knew who I was, when it came to like after junior high,
You know, there are people who care way too much. Like the coach suing like a 15-year-old. Like, pick your battles, man. You know? I don't know. We don't know the whole story. I have no idea what the fuck, but it's weird. You know?
when he did that, it was so aggressive. Parents would scream from the stands that they wanted to hurt me. As being a trans man and just in my life in general, my family doesn't come from much, and we work very hard. And I'm like the first generation to try to become something. So, I mean,
Dude, that's such a diss to your family. I'm like the first generation from my family who, wants to be something in life. Everybody else, trash.
I will.
Sports should be gender neutral.
No. No. If I might have misunderstood the question, but we're gonna listen to it in a minute. But what I think she's saying is, everybody should play. Like, there's no male sports, there's no male tennis, there's no female tennis. It's just tennis. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you seen male tennis and female tennis? Listen. Right now there's the U.S. Open. All right. In male tennis, the U.S. Open goes to 5 sets. So you play each set. It goes to 7, 13, 14. Anyways, my point is, male tennis has to go to 5 sets. Females in a U.S. Open have to go only to 3. If you make it neutral, they can make it to 5 physically. You know, so what the fuck? No, you can't. It's like basketball with men and women.
as a vessel, it shouldn't matter whether you're male or female. Because I
Dude.
feel like
No. Dude, imagine basketball, LeBron James against any female star. Oh, forget LeBron James. LeBron's like the best player. Even a mediocre men player will destroy the women in basketball, in soccer, in football, whatever the sport is. You can't do the whole everybody is in kumbaya shit. No fucking way. Boxing? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like sports in general is growing. Especially there's this like little girl in wrestling. She wrestled in the junior division and in wrestling and nationals in the 106-pound division, and she kicked all the guys' asses.
Okay, no, dude, you can't compare. Oh yeah, we're gonna make the rule because one girl beat 105-pound guys once, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, go for you. So I feel like as the sport's growing, as we're evolving as a society and we're
No,
being
no,
more
fuck that.
progressive,
There's no
that
way.
it should get to the point if we're talking about gender neutral bathrooms, why can't we talk about gender neutral sports?
I actually rode and showed equestrian for 10 years, and I was like one of two men at the time. And then there are other roller derby leagues that are co-ed, and they work fine. Like women are going up against men, and they're bashing
No,
each other,
no,
and they're like going at
dude.
it. There's a lot of things, and I feel like sports are one of these things where it's like it has to be this or it has to be that. The same as gender. It has to be this or it has to be that, and it's not.
For me, the issue that I would start seeing with this is when we start looking at scholarships. And for college level, if you start combining the sports by gender, then
Yeah, that, and also, are you fucking kidding me? Like basketball, a team of men against a team of women. Who the fuck you think is gonna win? Soccer, boxing, MMA. You can be like, oh yeah, one girl beat the guys in a 105 pounds division in high school, college. Fine, okay, good for her. You can't make it unilateral though. Unilateral.
scholarships are always given to the top athletes. What happens to the females that now need that scholarship necessarily to go to college, but now you've just all thrown them into one category? It all of a sudden breaks that whole opportunity for them to maybe even go to college because now they've been training to be able to provide for themselves in college. And now, since it's all one level playing field, maybe they can beat the males, but on average, they probably won't be able to, especially depending on the sport.
Well, trans athletes aren't even getting scholarships either. I'm a two-time state champion in high school. Didn't get a scholarship. I just now been able to get my scholarship 3 years into being on a male team.
Yeah. But we're talking like hypothetically in the perfect world if sports was gender
Yeah,
neutral.
and that's what I'm
then-
saying. Like it's all hypothetical.
Yeah.
Everything's hypothetical in a sense because we don't have enough analytical data.
I feel as though making all
Forget the analytical data. If you have all the analytical data in the world, you can't put men and women in the same teams. You just can't. Especially for like violent sports.
gender
Because then how is it gonna look? In boxing, a guy beats the fuck out of a girl. Oh yeah, that's great.
neutral in that way, there is still some
Biking?
biological benefits to being born a man versus being born a female.
I just can't get over the fact that there are going to be all these very obvious differences, not advantages, but just differences in if we had gender neutral sports.
What
It's
do you mean
gonna
not
be
advantage?
a co-ed team versus an all-male team. It's going to be a co-ed team versus a co-ed team. So I feel like there would still be strategy that it would have to be played into it.
I'm thinking more like individually.
Yeah, individual. And I can see like where you're coming from that. And you mentioned wrestling earlier. Just the whole combat sport community in general does have a long way to go. Definitely not completely supportive of trans athletes, but in a sense of like when I've noticed in just like studying of how like female athletes are and male athletes are, the best like MMA female athletes, cis, have male training partners. And most of the time, like, they're kicking their ass unless, like, they're training or unless they have somebody that's better than them to push them.
It's-
and then that's
it's-
just making them a better athlete.
No. Listen, it's one thing training with a man, your coach being a man. It's a completely other thing if you're going into the ring and like, okay, kill her now, or kill him, whatever. There's a fight, and there's like money at the end of it. You can I can train with a woman in whatever the sport is. Training is training. competing, like when it's it's time to go, it's completely different mentally. You know.
In my opinion, like kids are extremely accepting. I have two gorgeous kids, and it's so cool to have them play on a playground and explain to their new friends who I am, and like watch them do that. And their kids, like their friends, will be like, "Oh, okay," But you talk to an adult, and they're like, because you have this instilled, like what you were saying, this instilled education from the time you were born that has basically said that no, this is wrong. You have to have this group, you have to have this group, you have to have this group. Like I do talk about it a lot with people, but I have to understand that it's not my responsibility to educate everyone. Like I have to be able to cross that line where it's like
Wasn't the question sports should be gender neutral? What the fuck?
mentally I can't do it anymore. Like I need to step back for a little bit. But like you said, ask questions. Like if you're genuine, as long as I know it's not malicious,
Yeah.
ask a question. Don't freaking ask
the
me about my
best thing you can
genitals.
do.
Like
Yeah.
that's none of your freaking
Be
business.
respectful.
I just want to know.
Okay, final thoughts. Well, I talked a lot, so I'm sorry, guys, if it's too long. But my thing, it's just, I mean, it is what it is, you know. Uh, tell me in the comments if you agree, if you disagree with me. But the whole thing with changing your gender before you're, yeah, like when you're 8, 9 years old, fuck that shit. Gender neutral sports. I hope it happens, just to see what the fuck happens, just for the chaos to happen. Because then women will be like, "Whoa, stop winning against us." Yeah. Um, so I don't know. You basically got my thoughts over the video that we just watched. I hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me if you want me to do more political commentaries in the future. And I'll see you guys next time.